today's idea of the day, I'd like to talk about the James Bond movies, and more specifically about the James Bond books. Now, anyone who's read James Bond, or more specifically the Ian Fleming James Bond, will always say they prefer the books to the movie. But the weird thing is that none of the James Bond movies, except for a couple of the early ones, were really based on the Ian Fleming books. That is to say that movies like Moonraker, or The Spy Who Loved Me, or Octopussy, they actually just used the title. And I'm not exaggerating this. If you read the books, they only used the title and maybe a couple of character names, but almost nothing else that happens in the book actually was in the movie. So now that they're doing some more reboots, and they've rebooted James Bond by using Casino Royale, which was actually a smart move because that was the only Ian Fleming book that had never been licensed by Cubby Broccoli, the producers behind the James Bond movies. So they started doing that, and I was like, wow, that's great. They're going back to Casino Royale. Wouldn't it be great if somebody actually redid the James Bond books the way they were written? Now, one of the reasons some people say they didn't do it was because they felt that they were dated and that it wouldn't be right to do those storylines today. But here's the thing. Why not go back and make, just like when they did the remake of King Kong, and they didn't bring King Kong into the 90s, which is when the movie was made. They made King Kong the way it was when it was originally done. They made it look like it was from the turn of the century, last century. So it was like, made it look like an Art Deco movie, etc. So why not do a reboot of James Bond where it actually takes place during the 60s when the books were written, so that the actual movies are a period piece, so that they are actually able to make the movies while there was a Cold War, while the way that the author actually intended them. So my idea of the day today is that even if it's an independent series, it would be great to see a retro James Bond done the way the original novels were written. And if that means, and it should be, that it's written to take place in the 60s, then set it in the 60s so we can see these great novels played out the way Ian Fleming originally wrote them. And not just use the titles, which is what they did to most of the earlier James Bond movies. And that's today's idea of the day. So there you have it. That's today's idea of the day. Hope you found this one interesting, if nothing else. Maybe you thought it was a great idea. Great, leave a comment, let me know. Maybe you thought it sucked. That's okay too. I've got thick skin. Leave a comment, let me know. But if you really want this idea to take off, if you want this particular idea to take off, you gotta share it with your friends. You gotta leave a comment once in a while. You gotta get involved, because I really love ideas, and I hope you do too. And if you do, why don't you subscribe to my channel? There's a link in the corner. Click it right now and you'll see a brand new idea each day. And I promise you, some of them won't suck.